Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. That's totally right.
Dude, I couldn't do that.
So Matt, your Hammer regional staff
Yes, sir.
should be Hammer national staff, but we'll just wait for that day. But I know you're testing a Brunswick ball and all the brands. What did you think when they acquired all 7 essentially?
I loved it because it gave us more variety of what we were able to throw. Because before it was 4 brands. Adding the Brunswick brand is super nice because Brunswick has such like a rich history of bowling balls and how good they've been. Adding the Radical and the DVA brand was just icing on the cake. But having 7 brands and having some versatility in the equipment is always a plus. That's a good move. I like that one. Good old tour move. 4 or 5 left, slow the ball speed down.
Maybe I'll take notes and bowl King of the Hill tonight or something.
Nah, I'm gonna go home and relax. That's what I'm gonna go do. All right, we'll throw one more at the Quantum and then we'll move along. Some stronger stuff.
Sweet.
Balance, baby.
When the one more looks like that, I mean that's it's pretty good.
It's the balance. Word of advice: stay down on your shots. Execution becomes a lot better. I promise you. Brutal. A few more. That was like a 3 and 2 move left. Ball's a little earlier, not as sharp down lane, but overall stronger. Just because it sees the lane probably 4 or 5 feet sooner, but it still has continuation because that's one of the few that the brands of Brunswick have that has HK22 on it as a solid. So
Was the Brutal, you think, underrated as far as, you know, maybe consumer, you know?
I think so, because I mean the DV8 brand doesn't get enough love sometimes. And also I know the colors kind of hurt because it is a wildly colored bowling ball, but in far as performance wise, definitely underrated. Really great on longer patterns, heavier oil stuff. Like the ball is really good. It just kind of got lost in the shuffle as it always does. We'll move like 3 more left. Slow down a little bit. That was another 3 left and that ball's still continuing, so.
That had plenty of energy in the back.
For a big asymmetric ball with a solid cover, the HK22 definitely helps it see the friction and still want to continue and not basically lose its energy as a lot of ASIMs tend to do. So that's why it makes this ball pretty special. Like, kind of sucks that it did get lost in the shuffle because I think this ball is really great. If you can still get a Brutal, I would recommend getting one. If you're on the lower rev rate end, ball definitely picks up really well in the front part of the lane, which I know a lot of lower rev rates could use, especially with the pile of oil they put up front these days. So definitely get you Brutal if you can. All right, we're gonna switch over to the 3D Attack, which in my opinion's a little bit, it's gonna be right under the Quantum Evo Response. This is one of the first few balls that they decided to put the HK22 on it. So, and obviously they've messed around with it a little bit and almost got it to perfection, because anything with HK22 on it's been performing pretty well for the most part. So we're gonna go back, standing 35. We're gonna stand 24 now. As you can see, significantly weaker Then that 2 I just threw. Quantum Evo, I believe I got all the way to about 32. With my feet, looking at around 20, 21 at the arrows, I was able to circle it pretty well. The Brutal, standing 35, dropped the ball speed down a little bit, going like 24, 23 out to about 4, 5, 6. It was coming back pretty easy. So the 3D offset, I moved, obviously standing 24, going a little more up the lane, but we'll see if we can loop it a little bit. That one's still pretty good. Moved 3-4 left, gave it a little more room. Didn't drop the speed too much, kept the ball speed up a little bit, and it still got through the pins pretty well. So definitely think if you had these 3 punches, you go Brutal. Once the Brutal kind of destroyed the lane build up front, you go to your Quantum Evo. Once that becomes maybe too sharp or even too lazy down lane, then I feel like you can go to like a 3D attack if you have one, and that would be a pretty good 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's a lot of balls that fit under the Quantum Evo response. Like you can probably even throw like a Black Widow 2.0 hybrid, be a pretty good ball under it. Dark Web hybrid would be pretty good under it. Game Breaker 4 is another one, hybrid that would be pretty good under it. So I mean, just personal preference, but for me, I feel like these 3 can kind of be a pretty good 1, 2, 3 punch if you're bowling on even house, something on the easier end. As you can see, the difference in that, a little longer through the lane, not as hard off the spot. So coming behind the head pin, if I throw the Quantum Evo response in that spot, I'm going high flush. Sure. So now if I'm throwing the Brutal, I'm going through the face.
Final thoughts on the ball, Matt. You know,
so
what do you think of it?
I've gotten a few games on the Evo now. Got about 6, 7 games on it, and you guys seen it in the video when you guys see this. I was probably a little too far left, throwing it a little hard in the oil. Once I made the move 1 board right and kind of caught it to the friction a little bit easier, my ball was getting through the pins pretty well. In the comparison video, you'll see that I'm significantly farther left now that they broke down a little bit, and I think that's when the ball is the most usable, is when that oil starts to go away in the front part of the lane and you need something to get through the front but still have some energy down lane. So for me, I would use it like house shots, games like 2, 3. If I'm bowling on patterns that are a little longer and urethane's being used, that's gonna be a game 3, 4, 5 ball. So I think this ball is absolutely fire. You've seen it, like it gets to the pins so well. I think as a consumer, you just got to be smart enough to know when it's usable and not just use it on everything, because like, you know, every ball has its purpose. I think personally, this is not a ball you're going to start on the fresh with, as I think it'd be too long, too sharp. So, but if you wait till the lanes calm down a little bit, oil gets down lane, I think that's when this ball really excels.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Cool.
We're ready to rock.
Okay. It's a good ball.
The cameras turn on and Archie turns into like Pete Weber in his prime.
Maybe with about half the rev rate.
What do you, I know you just picked it up today and you've rolled it probably a game and a half if we include practice, but initial thoughts on it, you know, what are they?
This is an incredible ball. I mean, just from the standpoint, this lane's already broken down. It's not fresh at all. It wasn't fresh to begin with. Matt Jones broke it down more, and I'm able to shift in. I have hold with it. If I get it way right, it still comes back, hits the pocket, and goes through the pins really hard. I've never had a ball like that. Closest thing I had was a Code Red, I think, that did that. Other than that, I mean, I've got the Wolverine, I've got the Phase 5. Both of those do not go through the pins that way. So.
That hooked more than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, I thought it was actually going to go pretty straight, but like I said, Maddie's got him pretty broken down. So let's try another 2 and 1 in and see what happens there. So you do get some play. Threw that a little bit to the right too far. Actually hit it harder, but it still went long enough and just crushed the pocket. So I really like this ball. It's really forgiving, and it shouldn't be for how I'm throwing it anyway. Any questions?
I don't think they'll have any.
I took that 4 boards easy and it held all the way. I'm not as sharp as I could be. I haven't bowled since last Monday.
That's all right.
So should pick up pretty early, but it's not going to back in near as much. So you can see that ball motion's a lot different. It picks up early and then it just set the entire way. I tugged that in, but it's still set. So
yeah, that one it's pretty nasty.
Let's try to get one out and see what happens. Yeah, you see, that ball doesn't come off the spot like the Evo does. That came off the spot, made a hard left, but then did not have the continuation going through the pins. That one picked up pretty early. I'm gonna have to move back left. I didn't expect it to pick up that early. All right, so that does hook as much as the Evo and the Wolverine, like within a board, but the ball motion's totally different. It actually picks up a lot sooner than I thought it would, and it really just kind of barely walks into the pocket. Really smooth on the back end.
Archie, final thoughts on the Evo Response. What do you think of it, and you know, when do you see yourself using it maybe most?
I love this ball. It's the nut, and I plan on using it as much as possible to see where it's going to exactly fit in the bag, whether it's game 1, 2, or 3. I think it's going to be a great late game ball, the way it's reacting on the burn right now. I mean, it's not overreacting. Usually game 2 or game 3, it comes too hard off the dry and I'll go through the face, and I try to adjust in a little bit, and then I'm going too long, leaving a 210 or a putt 10. So yeah, this ball is definitely going to help me out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Breath all the time.
Somebody said that yesterday. Rich is back on the television.
Yay.
Your phones, your computers, whatever it is. And we're throwing something different. The Evo Response.
The Evo Response.
This is one of your favorites at Expo, if not your favorites. You know, what about this do you love so much, I guess, or you know?
By far my favorite ASIM Pro Ball, just because it seems like it still picks up in the mid lane, gives me wonderful shape, and then gets through the pins, even from the steepest angles. Continuation on the ball has just been phenomenal. Let's see if we can get a couple of good shots in for you guys. Sorry, I had Matt Jones bowling here in front of me, so they're a little bit tore up.
Ooh.
All right, I'm pretty much lined up there.
Yeah. Here's a Virtue hot take. Who do you think has the best physical form besides yourself on Virtue staff?
Virtue staff.
Yeah, so like employees.
Honestly, I have to go with A-Cuff.
Giving it to a lefty, huh? That's crazy.
I have to say A-Cuff.
It's crazy.
I know, giving it to a lefty. Can you believe me?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they actually, him and DJ both have phenomenal physical games. They make very few mistakes in their approaches, and goes to show that's why they're so good. Hopefully one day I can throw it like them. That'd make me happy. With the right hand, of course. All right, let's compare that ball to a EVA Hellcat.
A big solid.
Big ASIM solid. Like the Hellcat, it's one of those solids that still picks up in the mid lane where you want it to, but it has a really nice shape down lane and still continues through the pins. So I'm going to throw it in the same spot and see if it picks up through the puddle. We'll try that one more time.
That was pretty nasty though. That was pretty nasty. Wow.
You can see that it picks up a little bit earlier as to where the Evo Response just gives me that more down lane motion because it doesn't lay off so early. I did throw the Accelerate just a little bit. The difference between this one and the Accelerate were pretty minimal for me, other than it was a little bit stronger through the front part of the lane, like it seemed to pick up quicker. Same overall motion though. That wasn't too bad. It's better when you strike. You don't have to reset it.
It's true. All right, Rich, your final thoughts on the Evo Response, and you know, when do you see yourself using this most?
Final thoughts on the Evo Response. Definitely something that I don't use on fresh right out the gates, just because it is kind of quick. Overall, I really like the way the ball rolls. I put it in my A tier. It's definitely going to be in my bag for everywhere that I go. I think that the ball is phenomenal because it hits the mid lane. It reads very, very well. It makes a very distinct motion and continues through the pins, no matter, you know, how steep I get the ball. I have yet to do anything with the surface on the ball. I'm actually pretty excited. I think overall, I would have to rate it somewhere around 90-ish on my scale of 100. Just for being such a big ASIM pearlized cover, it actually picks up in the mid lane and goes through the pins without quitting.
So would you say this ball is the nuts?
I would say that this ball after game one definitely gives me the berries. I'm pretty sure you remember that last Thursday.
Don't do this. Don't do this on camera. Don't do this. Don't do this.
I tried so hard. I'm sorry.
Don't do this.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
You're not going to say the words nuts, are you? All right, man. Hey, thanks, man.